of everything.
Me? Yeah.
No bullying. Did he say it started? Yeah, I'm ready. Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
So
So what it was is Leon said a while ago, did you want to take part in some debate on Islam that was happening on the Hangouts?
Okay.
And then it never went
I
ahead.
see.
So I prepared a whole sort of document on stuff which I sort of wanted to kind of maybe have a chat with some Muslims about, because
Okay.
I'd regard myself as being against Islam but not against Muslims, if that makes sense. Do you understand how I can have that distinction? Is that a fair point?
Freedom.
Yeah. So
I mean, he could talk for himself.
okay,
But
yes,
I
yeah.
would say,
yeah.
because Islam is not in books in a museum or an old library, then they kind of go together. And I'm not saying it's purposeful, but if I don't like an ideology, then whoever's trying to enforce, perpetuate, and maintain that ideology, I've also got an issue with them. It's like saying you don't like the concept of paedophilia or raping children, but you ain't got a problem with the guy who's actually raping children. Do you understand my point?
I'll tell you why that's not the case. That can be the case.
Okay.
Paedophilia is not an ideology. It's not like you read the pedo manifesto and you become
how do you know?
indoctrinated. How do I know? Because well, there is no pedophile manifesto.
Okay, hold
as far as I
on.
know.
Do you know there's a society that is claiming the rights of children to have sex? You know about that?
I can imagine that
Right.
seems very plausible.
So
yeah.
I'm saying to you that obviously if you have something like that,
Yes.
there are some writings, and there are writings about it. You don't have to look very far.
I'm
I've
sure
seen them
there's
pop up
some
on
writings.
Facebook.
Yeah.
My point is
Yeah.
that if you have a problem with the ideology, right, and it is brainwashing people to act in a certain way, then I suggest you have a problem with the people that are trying to push that ideology.
No, I say I have more almost sympathy for the people, because if you've been brainwashed,
Yeah, I agree.
I have no place to sort of hate you for being brainwashed, and maybe you consider it from me from being a more sort of
Sorry.
conservative.
Let
or
me
anti-Islamic.
introduce who I am.
Okay, go for it.
The point I was saying was you may be shocked.
Go on, shock me.
Or surprised, sorry. What you consider Islam,
Yeah.
I would say is absolute garbage. So in general, the world of Islam that you know is generally what you call Sunniism.
Are you not a Sunni?
I'm not a Sunni.
Are you a Shia?
So-called Shia.
Okay.
So
Right,
I don't
interesting.
like.
I've never met a Shia, so
that's fine. I used to be Sunni and converted.
I see.
All right, so I could speak about both of them with knowledge in
Yeah,
regards
yeah,
to
because
the
you-
difference.
yeah.
So most of what you're probably going to say, I might agree with you, or in general. You get what I'm saying? That's all right. Don't worry. Do you see my point? So it was just interesting to hear what you had to say,
Yes.
and if we would agree. Because the reason I put that to you in regards to the ideology and the people, because that's how I see them. Yes, I can feel sorry for Sunnis that have been brainwashed into believing it.
Yeah.
But how do I feel sorry for these people that go from village?
Sorry, I really don't like bees.
So what, man? Trust me, if you just leave them alone, they won't do you anything. If you think about it like this, if it's something that is kept, I don't know, they just practice it without harming people.
Sorry, it's just really put me off.
It's a Sunni wasp.
It's come to plague
A
us.
Sunni wasp. Yeah. If you think about it in the sense of the brainwashing that occurs for somebody to blow up, was it Manchester?
Yeah. Well, any number of locations you could
No,
choose
but I'm
from.
saying the last one, the concert with children.
Oh,
right? It
yes,
youngsters,
that was
wasn't it?
Manchester. Yeah.
So I'm saying whoever is following the Sunni ideology, I'm not saying every Sunni agrees with it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying the people who are Sunnis hold at high esteem.
Yes, yeah.
People called the companions of the Prophet, Sahaba.
Yes.
And when you read their history, they've done a lot of hideous things. So if you hold certain people to be the highest and they're actually hideous people, then obviously you're going to find hideous
got a problem.
behaviour
Yes.
from the people that follow
Absolutely,
them.
absolutely. And a vast number of Sunnis or even just Muslims in general. Yes, I'll be honest, I do have a problem with them. But I don't want to say all, okay, because there are...
Agreed.
Yeah.
What my point is, I agree with you.
Okay,
There are a lot
okay.
of people struggling with the Sunni religion. There was a conversation between Sunnis the other day, how a lot of Sunnis are leaving Islam totally when they go to university.
Really?
Why? Because they get to think. They get to question.
Yeah.
Now, the Sunni religion, if you just think about it anyway, it falls apart. Do you
Okay,
understand?
explain to me why.
Okay.
I'm interested in I
That's
haven't
fine.
met many dialogues between the two. But
The Sunnis openly, I don't know why, it's pretty retarded, it's stupid to say this openly, right? They say openly, is that-
another fight.
wait.
this Ikhwanji Egyptian came.
What's the running around all about? Huh?
I was recording.
I don't know.
What happened there? Sorry, do you want to carry on?
Yeah, please. Oh, shit.
What's happening?
This is like the third time when I've been mid-interview on camera and there's a fight that's broken out in the middle of it. I don't know, where's Esau gone? Explain to me sort of the...
You started?
Oh, sorry, are we rolling?
Yeah, go ahead.
The differences between Sunni and Shia.
So the basic differences are that the Sunni follow a idolatrous type ideology,
All right.
which is very, I don't know, you could say it hoodwinks the people with deceit.
Okay.
So
Tell me how though. I know the basic differences.
I'm telling you now.
Okay. All right.
We have the Prophet appointed his successor.
Yeah.
The successor is not just a leader, a governor, etc. He's also somebody that teaches you and elaborates on the Quran and the Sunnah. The Sunnah is the way of the Prophet,
Yes,
the
I know
Hadith,
that.
etc.
Yeah.
But he's divinely appointed.
Okay.
That's the difference, the main difference.
Right.
And the source of this is in the Quran and the Hadiths of the Sunnis and us.
All right.
Do you
Is
understand?
there a specific verse that
In
I
the
can
Quran?
look up? Yeah. Or indeed in the Hadith.
For leadership, you start with chapter 4, verse 59.
Okay. I'm only 3 chapters in, so I'll get that.
Okay. And in regards to, again, the theme, if you like, where it's coming from,
Yeah.
is chapter 2, verse 124.
Okay.
This really establishes imama. But you'd go from 124 to about 129. So chapter 2,
Okay.
verse 1, actually 122, start from there, read till 129. Right? Chapter
Gotcha,
2,
gotcha. I'll go
122, 129, and chapter 4, 59. Okay? So basically what you have, I mean there's several verses, they all go together, right?
Yeah,
but these are the two
yeah.
more clear ones. This relates to divinely appointed leadership. The Sunnis have this thing where you can do what you call shura, which is consultation. So you can get a group of people together and they vote in the leader,
Oh, so it's democracy type.
so called.
Okay. Yeah.
In the sense that they would say, well, let the scholars do it.
Yeah.
But then you can pay off the scholars to then vote who you want.
so they can become corrupt. Okay. Yeah.
And it was corrupt from the get-go. It's the Sunni religion is actually really backwards.
So it's never worked, even in the early days.
Well, let's explain how Abu Bakr became the caliph.
Yeah.
The first caliph, Abu Bakr. Sunnis say he's the best friend of the Prophet. When the Prophet passed away, Abu Bakr was with his new wife, right? Not by the Prophet's side. The Prophet was sick for many days. He wasn't by his bedside. No. He was, I mean, fair enough. You know, maybe he took a break, whatever. But anyway, he comes back. He gives this little speech. Umar bin Khattab was causing a kerfuffle, whatever. And then he says, whoever worshipped Muhammad, know that Muhammad is dead. Whoever worships Allah, know Allah is alive and can never die. Okay?
I thought you weren't supposed to worship Muhammad.
No, exactly. But he's trying to, I mean, why would he say that? They were crying. They were naturally upset that the Prophet's gone. But the connection is, Umar bin Khattab was swinging his sword, saying the Prophet is not dead. He's like Musa, who went up the mountain and came back. So he's saying the Prophet, Allah is going to resurrect the Prophet, and the Prophet is going to chop them up. That's what Umar bin Khattab said.
Right.
Apparently in a state of hysteria. But he wasn't so hysterical, because before the Prophet was even buried, Abu Bakr and Umar went over to a place called Saqifa, where they heard that a group of the Ansar, their helpers, were discussing about leadership in themselves. They actually chose someone. Abu Bakr and Umar got there and started arguing with them. It's not a consultation, it's not a shura. Argued, it got heated. Umar grabbed his hand, said, give me your hand, Abu Bakr. Gave him allegiance, and then they just followed.
All right.
That was it. Abu Bakr became leader. He lies on the Prophet, claiming the Prophet said, what we leave to charity, we the Prophets do not have to inherit, what we leave goes to charity. He said that to the Prophet's daughter because the Prophet's daughter was demanding her property, which Abu Bakr stole.
All right.
He also started to kill a whole heap of Sahaba, saying that they should pay him the zakat, the charity money.
Charity.
They refused. Do you know about these wars? They call them the Riza wars.
I don't know about these.
Right, so he becomes the caliph and he starts stealing, lying, and killing other Muslims.
Yep.
Does that make sense to you? This is a wonderful guy.
I mean, the whole of Islam doesn't make sense to me, but...
Oh, okay, fair enough. That's fair enough.
This is what you believe, so...
No.
Fine.
What my point is, you don't know what Islam is, because you only know Sunnism.
Right, but
Do you understand?
From a Sunni's point of view, I don't know what Islam is, from having talked to you, you know?
No, here's the difference. Sunnism is across the world as the representative of Islam.
Yes.
So when somebody says, oh, in Islam, they believe A, B, C, D, they're just going to reel off a whole heap of Sunni garbage.
Yeah.
Do you understand my point?
I know.
And then they'll
I'm
say,
with you there.
the Shias believe that, as though, we're the other.
No, there is a great deal of hatred against the Shiite minority, which is disturbing to say the least from a lot of Sunnis. I mean, I think it goes both ways as well. I think there's a lot of
ours
Shia
is more
groups in
defence.
the world. I suppose so.
Well, remember, I'm a convert.
Oh, you're a convert, are you?
So I'm a convert. Right. I was a Christian, converted to Sunni paganism, then became true Muslim, so-called Shia. So I remember the conversations that they used to have about the Shia. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I know
you've
fully well
been there, and I haven't.
So I know from my perspective of trying to be nice with them, no, they're two-faced savages. Simple as that. So I just deal with them as they are.
Okay.
For the majority of what they're like, anyway. Yeah.
Right. Well, that's your view on Sunnis cleared up then.
Honestly, I can't say all Sunnis, but I always tell people don't trust any Sunnis because there is a cultural habit of lying to you about their religion. And it's made to seem like you're doing good for the Sunni religion by lying. They have something called taqiyya, which we both do.
Oh, I know what taqiyya is.
Taqiyya
came from the Shiites, actually.
No. It comes from the Quran.
Yeah.
And the verse it relates to is if someone... What happened was a companion was cornered. And they started beating him and said, say you worship Allah and Uzza, these other gods. And he said it. He came to the Prophet, he was crying. And he said, what's wrong? He said, I'm finished. The Prophet said, what happened? He told him what happened. He said, listen, if they do that, say it again. He said, how do you feel in your heart? He said the same as before, meaning he believes in the Prophet, and so on. So the context is, if you're in fear of your life, the Shias have been in fear of their life.
Yeah, I know.
So it became
but it was originally
norm.
practiced by the Shias, is what I'm
It's
saying.
a cultural norm.
And then adapted.
Not just them. Anyone who disagreed with Abu Bakr and the Umayyads, imagine the companions in the hadith books of Sunnis are afraid of narrating hadith.
Yeah.
One of the hadiths, in Sahih Muslim I believe it is, he says, while I'm alive, do not say you got the hadith from me. When I die, then you can say. Doesn't that show someone's scared?
Sure.
Do you understand? And the hadith is about Umar bin Khattab committing a very big, what you would say, anti-Islamic act. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So good. What's going on here?
It's not love fight, is it?
Right. Yeah. So, in regards to what was that based upon? Sorry, what I was saying. These sirens.
So taqiyya.
Okay, taqiyya. Yeah. So with the Sunni now, yeah. So we would do taqiyya based upon the fact, obviously. I don't do taqiyya because
You don't do taqiyya.
obviously not.
So you're not threatened enough by the Sunnis.
It's not threatened enough, but I was a Sunni, and I hate the fact they lied to me,
Yeah.
deceived, all of this kind of stuff, and I think it's totally disrespectful to humanity. To have
Can
knowledge.
you give me just one specific instance where they an out lie that a Sunni said, maybe regarding Quranic scripture?
That the Prophet, peace upon him, left the Quran and Sunnah.
Okay.
Blatant lie. There's many lies, but
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
in their own books it says the Prophet left the Quran and Ahlul Bayt, which is his family. And then in that same speech where he said this, he said, whoever has me is his master, Ali is his master.
Yeah.
So the general support network for the next caliph would be the family, Prophet's family.
Okay.
But the individual leader is Imam Ali. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that's the point of saying, I'll leave the Quran and my family. They then lie and say, no, he left the Quran and the Sunnah. Which means what? You have to go to the collective of Sahaba to get the Sunnah, all the different hadiths. And then you have to go to the scholars, who then tell you over interpretation. And then basically scholars run the religion.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Oh, I'm with you on saying that the religion should not be placed solely in the hands of a bunch of clerics who, have their own
Well, that's what it is. That's what
politics
Sunnism
or
is.
whatever.
Well, that's what it has been forever.
Right.
And it's, you have to remember, it's all about conquest. Sunnism is about subduing any opponents and enemies, conquering, stealing. That's it. It's an imperialist ideology. Simple as that.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not here to argue the case for the Sunnis, so
That's fine,
I haven't really got an issue with that. I guess your point is whatever criticism of Islam I might have is invalid because it's actually criticism of Sunniism. Sorry, so Sunni Islam
It's
rather than Shia.
Sunnism or a misunderstanding because of what you've read
Okay. Right.
of Sunnism. So, for instance, when you said about Taqiyya and the Shiites, it's a Quranic thing,
Yeah.
but obviously ours is
It's
legitimate.
adapted in different
Because
ways.
I'm saying they do Taqiyya when it comes to...
They do it well. They do it when it comes to conquest. Though,
No, but
really.
that's what I'm saying, like here, for instance.
Okay,
If you
right.
you heard of Shamsi?
I know who he is.
Sham
I've never
Donkey. Now,
listened to him.
Imagine he's going up to people, he's exposing the terrorists and so on.
Is he Sunni, by the way?
He is
Okay, right.
a hardcore Salafi Sunni.
Oh, he's a Salafist, is he?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. So did you see, you haven't seen the exposition. So he literally would get the camera, get boys rolling with him, and saying he's exposing people.
All right.
There was a guy, you know the little ISIS guy, Suleiman.
No.
Well, I call him the ISIS midget, right? Little guy.
Yeah. Oh, there's ISIS supporters in this park.
No, but there's one in particular, he gives speeches.
Does he?
Yeah,
Okay, I don't know who Suleiman is.
He doesn't go as far as saying he supports ISIS, but you sum total all of what he's saying, that's what he's saying.
Right.
Right?
Caesar quite right.
He's here.
I don't recognise him.
Oh, he's been about. And then there was another black guy called Abdul Hakim, who probably doesn't have as much knowledge as Suleiman. And he went to both of them to be the exposer. This is what Shamsi was doing. But Shamsi basically showed himself up when he was in a conversation with a Shia Muslim, and he was talking about who spread Islam to Andalusia, who spread Islam here and there.
Yeah.
Simple question: how did they spread Islam? Internet, leaflets, pigeon, swords. Do you see the concept?
Yes, yeah, I'm
Is
with you.
you're
Yeah.
conquering and spreading. So he's saying, no, don't support ISIS, not terrorism. They were the terrorists of their day. Do you get me?
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Do you see my point?
I see what you're saying.
And
I don't want to be on camera, but I do have a question.
sure.
You said about how you were originally a Christian.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what,
I was raised in
denomination-
Christian, yeah.
I don't know what denomination you were, but that's not particularly important to me. Well, my question is, what made you convert from Christianity to Islam? Just fundamentally.
Studying Christianity more. I went back to church when I was about 15, and asking more questions. And basically, my friends group and my father's friends group had Rastas, Nation of Islam, and various other people that were, and there would be debates in the house or in the car.
Yeah.
So, there was Selassie, this, that, and it really intrigued me because, especially when the Day of Judgment was supposed to be the year 2000, I don't know if you were born then, but basically there's this hysteria that the apocalypse, the Messiah's coming back. So there's loads of different people promoting, get yourself sorted before that time. So I was really sifting. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And basically a lot of the prophecies in the Bible, Christianity makes no sense when you compare it to the Bible. It contradicts the Bible. That was easy to dismiss.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it was difficult in regards to emotional attachment, obviously, and the fear of hell and the fear of God punishing you for leaving his religion. But after logic kicked in, it was like, right, that's it. Do you understand?
Yeah, I
And it's basically the prophecies to be honest, the most thing was prophecies in regards to that. But then afterwards I was thinking, okay, I can't base my being Muslim upon prophecies in the book that I claim is tampered with.
Yeah, that's my real question. Isn't necessarily why you left Christianity. It's more what made you decide. Oh, okay, so I'm going to go from Christianity to Islam.
Yeah, I would say it's the prophecies.
So,
But what's
could I
that
have
in
an example
relation
of a
to
prophecy?
Islam? Like, sort
Oh,
of,
the prophecies of Prophet Muhammad.
not even, but what made you not just the abandonment of Christianity, but the transition between the two is what he's asking.
So I'm saying there are some true things in the Bible and false things. I'm saying if they foretell a prophet in the future, then clearly that would be something that is true. Do you understand?
Yes.
So I'm saying that basically I took that and found it prophesied, Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah.
Therefore it's accurate.
I see.
And that's, I mean, there were so many other things logical. The system, it gives you a system of life and all these other things. So I was down with that.
Okay. All right, well, fair enough. I mean,
Yeah, is that good for you?
Yeah, no, that's just what I was interested in.
It's obviously a longer answer.
yeah,
100%.
I'm sure.
I think it's very personal as well in everyone's individual case, religion.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Right. Well, I'm not disagreeing with you as much as I thought
you
I would.
thought.
I mean, I'm not a Shiite, so I.
No, but even what you might say, you might have some angles against the Quran, and my book is the Quran.
Yes, well, that does bring me to my other point. Is you can say, oh, you're just against Sunniism. You're not against Islam. But and hey, I'm reading the Quran. I'm in the process of reading it right now, so I can't comment. I'm not a scholar. I'm not going to say, I denounce it. But from what I've read, I don't find it to be a nice book to read. Now there are some moments in it. I can't think of a verse in the Quran that I agree with right now, but there's probably some sort of poetic and meaningful truths, as it were, in there. But to treat it as the unadulterated word of God, for me, is problematic. Regardless of whether you're Sunni,
I hear
Shia,
what you're
Sufi,
saying. I understand.
whatever it is. So I have the same issue with the Bible myself.
What it is, my angle is everything's about science. Bottom line,
Science.
science.
Okay, right.
So my point is, if a all-knowing, almighty God is going to send a book down, it has to be based upon science. And if you're sending it to human beings, it has to be based upon their empirical evidence, their empirical view, their experiences.
Yes.
So I say the Quran is a science book.
The Quran's a science book.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult to equate faith with empirical evidence.
But Islam's not about faith.
No.
The Quran is about evidence.
Okay.
To be fair, that's.
Let me give you an example.
Okay,
of a
give me because I hear these Muslims make scientific claims.
Say travel through the land. It's not really the claims of the embryo and all these different things. I don't come with all that.
It's not that.
No, that's not what I come with.
Right,
I'm talking about the basic principles of what it's saying.
Okay.
I.e., travel through the land and see how we originated creation and reproduced it.
Right.
So, would that be describing evolution to you?
I don't know how exactly it's described.
Okay.
But
No, I'm saying the most basic thing is that you have to go around. I'm saying for an almighty God, Allah, to tell humanity, to investigate how things that around you came about.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to investigate how trees came about.
Yeah,
how
that's not evolution though. That's just a study of the natural world. I think that's
and
slightly
evolution is part of that study. How? That's
in
the
some
point.
sense, yes.
I'm pointing out the word how in this.
Okay, all right.
That you have to go and look at how these things come about, how they reproduce themselves, and so on and so forth.
And the Quran doesn't argue that that's a result of God, or.
No, it is. But I'm saying then you go into the concept of God, which is a long. It's kind of a long study, because if I said to you that Allah is to the human mind a concept, where do you go from there? Or a concept of energy, or a principal concept of a personification.
Well, no. He's a concept. I don't think he's a personification.
No, but a personification is a concept.
No, it's not.
If I personify something, that's still a concept in my mind.
No, some don't personify him though, because to say then you're saying God is a person. God's not a person.
No. This is what I'm saying. By attributing, because we all agree, Sunni, Shia, Jews, Christians, that the source is unknowable. Yes? So anything
well,
we
I'm
say...
none of those, but...
No, but I'm saying
source
the source, Allah, God. Yeah? We all say Allah, God, is unknowable. So whatever we're saying about him, he's merciful, he's powerful, etc., comes back to human personification.
Oh, I see what you're
understand?
saying. Right, I'm okay.
you
I think
understand?
I misunderstood you initially. Oh, so you're
You're
saying.
talking about anthropomorphism.
Yeah. You're. Okay, no. I wasn't. But I get what you're saying now. So,
Right.
so you're saying we're misplaced in doing that. We shouldn't be giving these attributes to God when we
No,
can't
I'm
possibly
saying
know the nature
attributes
of
are
God.
fine.
Oh, they're fine.
Attributes are fine. But I'm saying understand that the human being is the one that needs them
Right. Okay.
for its connection to this source.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying the God needs to be a personal God, basically.
Both,
That's-
personal and non-personal, because that's the reality.
How can
If-
it be
if
personal
they saw-
and non-personal?
In the sense of it's non-personal in the grander scale,
Yeah.
and personal with your personal connection.
All right. Fine.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I understand. See, when you mention Allah and God, you can't help think of a religious viewpoint, and that's why I say
Well, it is. I mean,
no, but it's not because
Just let me. I'll
Okay.
go back to you. Can you believe in God and not be religious?
yes,
Okay.
I'm not religious.
You're not religious.
not religious.
But in what way are you not religious? If you follow
religious.
Are you a Muslim?
I am a Muslim.
Does a Muslim mean someone who is a follower of Islam?
Yeah.
Is Islam a religion?
Not literally, because the word
yeah,
Muslim doesn't
sure.
mean that. But yes.
But Islam is a religion.
No.
Islam is not
It's
a religion.
system. It's a scientific
Okay, right,
system of
that's what
life.
we are.
Yes.
See.
Can I ask
A
one
yeah.
question? Sorry.
A scientific-based system of life.
Do you believe that the Quran, everything in the Quran, have you read the Quran? fully?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you believe everything is correct in there?
Yes, I do.
It's kind of- okay, that's
Hold on,
what I
hold
want
on.
to know.
Before I say that,
Or not correct is the truth.
definitely, I would say this.
Are you 100% certain?
The Quran, I'm 100% certain that the Quran that came to the Prophet Muhammad is. Well, I can say, because for me to say that, I would have to say I've studied all of it. He asked me if I've read.
Yeah.
I've
I know you're
read
not a
all of
scholar,
it.
you know.
What I'm saying, to study every single verse, like with my type of study, I write pages and pages and pages on maybe 30 words
Yeah.
in a verse.
Of just
But it's-
your thoughts on what
It's
that
more the
means to you.
interconnection between verses. It's just
Okay,
the way the
right,
Quran.
right.
What I'm saying is, if I was to present my information to you, I guarantee you would be quite shocked that a man in the desert could produce this book. But I do understand where you're coming from. The translation and your approach to it is as though it's a religious book for devout worshippers that believe in a God and so on.
Well,
I understand.
it's your take on it is a very interesting one, but most people would disagree with you there.
Okay,
And, you know,
imagine me debating a physicist using the Quran. I would correct them on so many areas.
you would win a debate with a
Oh, yeah,
physicist
of course.
if
Because-
he used physics versus the Quran.
Well, the
Even if you
Quran-
had no knowledge of quantum physics or classical mechanics.
Well, that's what I'm
or
saying.
what-
You could say the Quran is teaching quantum physics, so to speak.
Right.
Most
Okay.
definitely. And it's this one specifically, it'd be hard to get out. If someone says, with other verses, you might say, well, that's kind of your spin, and I see where you're coming from. Yes, but there's the specific verses I'm talking about. There is literally no way out of it. It says this. Literally every word says that. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Do you know? Because I would have left.
Would you
otherwise.
allow for the possibility
Yeah.
that the Quran is right? That it's not
mean?
completely right? That there
In
are
regards to
mistakes
science?
in it? In regards to anything?
I mean, if you said to me, for instance, that there's an error in certain words or vowels
Yeah.
missed out, I can accept.
Okay. But when it's explaining the natural world, though.
Oh,
so
no,
yes,
it's
scientifically,
perfect.
Then it's perfect. Okay.
No, because
all right, that's fine.
I've devoted a lot of time, because that's my interest, science.
Sure.
All different type of science, psychology, physiology, especially physics, quantum physics, etc. That's my personal interest. So my whole point was, if the Almighty, all-knowing God doesn't know as much about His creation as His creation, so how can a human being, who's one little speck, know more about the creation of God than God Himself?
God, yeah.
And that was my kind of like, well, you need to prove to me, Allah, the Quran, that you do. And that's where after a while I was like, wow, this is really saying, and then I had to recheck to make sure it's not my spin. And so I was like, this is actually saying something, I have to quickly balance and, what do they call it, check and balance, what I'm saying, to make sure it is legitimate and it is, what's the word for non-biased? What's that word?
Impartial? Neutral?
Impartial. Yeah, basically.
Objective?
Objective. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, totally objective in that sense.
I see. Right, well...
I totally understand what you're saying. It's hard at the moment because I can't go into any details. But just think at the moment, this one verse that I said to you, travel through the land and see, therefore investigate how Allah originated creation and reproduces.
Yeah.
Is that not telling the Muslims that they have to be scientists? Yes or no?
Sure. From standard interpretation, I say yeah.
Because if that's what it says,
Yeah.
and it actually is referencing, they say, the non-believers. So the prerequisite is that the Muslims are doing it anyway. If I'm telling you that the proof of Allah, you will find it if you go and investigate nature. Yes?
Okay. Well, I hope.
I'm just saying, if I'm saying that, then obviously, if I'm not investigating it, and you come back and you say you found this, you haven't found that, whatever. If I haven't investigated, I can't tell you you're right or wrong.
Sure.
So
I'm with
the
you.
Muslim has to be a step ahead of you to tell you, oh, well done.
Yeah.
And then we have to.
It seems to me that most Muslims aren't in that position. Oh, but then again, most
Sunnis.
Muslims are Sunnis. Yeah.
There you go. And don't forget, if it's a Sunni, don't trust it. Simple as that, guys.
Don't trust it. Are they
And you
not?
have
Are they not people?
The Sunni pagan infidel kafir monkey, never be trusted.
Right.
They're people. I mean, I've got different terms for them. What you have to remember is this. When you have a culture of betrayal, you have to remember we're a British society and we're polite in certain ways and so on. But you have to deal with a damn reality. Some cultures have this in them.
Yeah.
Predominantly.
Yeah, they do.
So what the hell, what am I supposed to say? Pretend that's not the case?
So would you be in favour of a government policy, with regards to Britain, that limited the number of Sunnis that were coming in? Maybe?
I wouldn't say, I would like to go around it this way.
Okay.
The easiest way, because my thing is eradicate Sunnism. There's no need for the foolishness.
Violently?
No,
if necessary?
No, Sunnism, the ideology.
Okay, right.
The easiest way to do that is to ask them questions about this one little box that they don't like talking about. There he is. There's that guy I was talking about. Isn't it?
Okay. Right.
Yeah, I mentioned him earlier on.
Is that's Suleiman?
ISIS, the ISIS midget, I'll call him. But anyway, yeah, he's a devil, proper terrorist, devil. I'm saying this one little box that they don't want you to delve into, and it's called the Sahaba. Imagine they tell you they're the most important people after the Prophet. The Sahaba, Tabi'een, which means those who come after them, and Tabi'een, which means those who come after them. So if these are the most important people who I have to take the understanding and the example of the Quran and Sunnah from, then how come you don't want me to hear everything the Prophet wants to say about them?
Well, yeah.
And also you don't want me to know their whole life stories. You understand? Don't worry, you're good, brother, you're good. Don't worry, no one can't touch you around here without me.
No, I'm not. I'm just
Okay,
hearing
okay.
what the commotion is.
Okay. So what I'm saying to you is that the easiest way to eradicate the Sunni pagan evil donkey religion is very, bruv, trust me, it produces retards. I've seen intelligent brothers, Afro-Caribbean brothers, convert to Sunnism, and they're dumb as hell. Oh, I believe this. They're stupid. The thing made me a zombie, bruv. I know. You know how long it took
I didn't
me?
want to cause all the fights over there.
Bruv, Sunni pagans are everywhere, bruv. They're all over the place. But I'm saying to you, you're like cockroaches of the planet. I'm not saying to even hate Sunnis. As you said, feel sorry for them.
Feel sorry for them, but they're cockroaches.
No. Listen.
I'm listening.
Remember I said this one subject matter, the companions, Sahaba. Go into that and their religion falls apart.
Okay.
Imagine
All right.
every single debate here with a Sunni is about the Sahaba.
That's how you'd start the debate, would you?
I'm saying to you,
Yeah.
they will run. They'll be like, oh, no.
So, can I ask you? That's my next question.
Yes, sir.
Have you confronted people like Shamsi and people like Suleiman? Have you brought
I have
this to
indeed.
them?
And Samsi has made himself look like the absolute donkey that he is.
Is it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube. Imagine this.
right.
Although his little groupies started cheering, which is fine, as though he won. Let me give you how simple this is, right? The verse says, and the first of the foremost, in English, from the Muhajirin and the Ansar, right? That's in the English, almost of all of them.
Right.
He's saying the word from is min, and it's a different type of min. It generally means from.
Okay.
But he's saying here, it doesn't mean from, it means all of them. So, let's look at this. I said it's some of them, not all of them. This idiot translates it and says from, not some. So I said, well, if it's from them, if you take from a group of people, is it all of them? It's some of them.
Yeah.
Exactly. This dumb clown can't speak English. He to me can't speak Arabic. Bruv, I've got a brain in my head. That's what I call him sham donkey. He's a flipping clown. He's an idiot.
Right.
And I'm saying he used red and green apples was his first example. The whole crowd looked at him like, I don't know what you're talking about. He explained it again using Panasonic and Canon cameras. He explained it and his crowd didn't understand it.
Right.
Up to now, they don't know what the hell he's talking about. So that's one. Muhammad Hijab.
Oh, you've spoken with him, have you?
Bruv, they're all stupid. He again.
Hijab's quite an intelligent guy.
Actually, no. I take that back. He is an intelligent idiot. Because, or in
Oh,
a
he's an
sense,
intelligent idiot, is he?
listen.
'Cause I've
Because he's
I still need
what
to
it is.
speak
What it is. He's got an intellectual. Actually, he's got an intellectual aspect. So he's probably from the Fatimid dynasty. The Fatimids were the Shias in Egypt. That's probably where he gets his spark of intelligence from.
Yeah.
Right? From us. He was debating me on a subject. As I'm about to smash him, he says, "But you don't know Arabic," and then walks off. He knew I didn't know Arabic before, but I know enough Arabic of the verse to beat the hell out of it. Do you understand?
Well, no, I'm not going to speak on
These are-
Shamsi and on
they're
hijab.
all- no. I'm saying these are all there, but you asked me a question.
Yeah,
I'm
I know,
explaining.
sure.
So now they avoid me.
Okay, right.
Ali Donkey or Ali Dawa.
So you don't go up to them. You don't bother going to them.
I mean, if it happened, it's got to the level it'd be more confrontation, move from me, you know?
Okay, right,
it'd be
right,
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I personally don't like, I would prefer, you know, like we're talking.
Yeah.
That's how I like.
Yeah, sure.
But the reason,
be. No, it's supposed to be.
but I'm saying to you,
Yeah, I'm gonna go now.
Are you off? Okay, see you later. pal.
That's
take care, big man.
interesting, by the way.
Give me a
take
handshake,
care,
brother.
Ollie.
Take care. Safe journey home, man. Take care. My point is that you generally see their nature come out now and again. I don't know if you remember, they used to circle Hartoon and kick her in the back of her legs and punch her.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of they've done so much stuff
Yeah.
that the cameras are preventing them from doing.
I see.
And you hear them say
So if
things,
there were no cameras, they'd be much worse, would they?
of course.
Yeah.
But they always say this. No, don't do that. You'll make Islam look bad.
Yeah,
not
I
the,
do
Not
hear
the
that.
behaviour's wrong. Don't do that. It's against this. No, it's not against Sunniism. The cameras and make Islam look bad. Meaning, I agree with what you're doing, but just don't do it for the cameras to see and people to make Islam look bad. They're devils. Remember, I had the thinking of a Sunni.
Yeah.
If you're not a Sunni, you're inferior. Your life is, I don't know if you know this, but in certain Sunni groups, in Islam, it's supposed to be a life for life in general, unless the other side forgive. You know that?
Yes.
They say if a non-Muslim kills a Muslim, he can't ask for his life.
Yeah.
Do you know that? There you go.
Right. Well,
that's
I mean, I need to speak to more Sunnis about the topic of Shia, Shia versus Sunni. to be
please
honest
do.
with you. Like,
I mean,
so
they
just
would.
just to get a balance, because I haven't
do.
had this in-depth discussion with a Sunni before.
I mean,
But-
I'm trying to get people to get Sunnis to discuss with me
okay, right.
on a civilized level.
Yeah.
Shamsi won't discuss because he knows it's all night for him.
Ali Dawa?
And he's stupid. He don't know anything. He's so. You know what it is? He's like the man that gives out leaflets. You know, some people, and you ask them, they say, talk to him. That's Ali Dawa.
I see.
He can't debate. But this is what does my head in with these pagans. These clowns.
What's up, son?
These people like to categorize and say Shia are wrong without studying the specific subjects. So, for instance, they say we curse the Sahaba. Well, I'm saying, well, if you knew what we knew, and if you just researched it in
Then
your
you
own
wouldn't-
books,
you wouldn't curse.
maybe you'd feel the same. But by the time they get so brainwashed, their cognitive dissonance is so kicked in that they're not interested.
I see.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And that's why I get to the point where if your cognitive dissonance is at that level and you just want to bulldoze because we're the majority and all, then you have to take a seat. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm saying we have
Look, I'm all for people not being informed, not being given a position of authority and sort of teaching. I'm for that. I don't want ignorance to have sort of influence.
He used to be, I think, what was it? Alawite Shia or something.
Who, Ali?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what they say. Or I think he said himself. But I mean, most of those that convert, they hardly ever know anything about Shia. And I agree, a lot of the cultural aspects of Shia practices, whatever.
Are questionable?
Very questionable, yeah.
Can I ask you just, maybe this
Go
is
on.
an
Go
excellent
on.
question, but would you oppose the sort of modern post-1979 Iranian ideology? Do you oppose the Ayatollah?
I don't. What it is,
Or at least Khomeini, if not
I
his
don't know
sons.
what it is. I wanted to go. This kind of thing, I was asking myself, what's my view of
Yeah,
it? What view should I hold? Because I don't think there's some Shias that literally hate the Iranian establishment government, the whole structure, and that shocked me. Because I thought, hold on, because of Iran, the booklets have been spread and shit. Basically, I know about true Islam because of them. And I'm like, how come you're talking this way? And they're like,
Did you convert to Shia before 1979, by the way?
no, I'm not that old.
You're wearing a mask, all right?
You see my face.
What made you go from Sunni Islam to Shia?
I did explain a bit. Let's finish
Yeah,
it.
I'll finish up with you and then.
So Iran, for me, I don't know enough
Are you
about-
undecided still? Are you sort of not?
It's kind of like what I've learned, because the Jewish guy over there, when he interviewed me, he asked me the same about Israel and
Yeah,
Hezbollah. And I
It's
said,
a-
back in the day, I used to run my mouth, you know, the opposition's always evil.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I saw two Jews arguing, one was saying Israel is illegitimate because they have to wait for the Messiah to come back.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
do you see? And then I thought, I can't speak on this issue.
Sure.
I'm not in a position to talk. So
Sure.
same with Iran. I wanted to go there and find out and see what's happening.
Okay. Right.
And I want to also have conversation with guys who have this view, the Shias that have that enmity view,
Yeah.
and what's their justification. Because I definitely have guys who are for it. So I want to hear the opposition. Do you get me? But I mean,
like for me personally, I just, you know, like, do you know the Satanic Verses affair?
yeah.
With Salman
Ayatollah
Rushdie? Yeah, so yeah, and he issued the fatwa, and he got, you know, I mean, thousands, probably hundreds of thousands
That's probably
of Sunni and Shia, you know,
political stunt, wasn't it?
kind of wanting, you know, shouting for Rushdie's death, and that, you know, he needed to be
It's
burnt.
a
and
standard
it's
thing.
like,
I mean,
you
but
know,
this-
that wasn't just a problem with Sunni Islam, you know?
No. What I'm saying to you is, I would see that personally as a public stunt, right? Because bless, thanks. If you think about it, if you make such a public statement, what's going to happen? The British government and someone are going to protect it. Yes?
Well, yes, but
And then
they didn't protect his translators, though. I mean,
Well, I'm saying in relation to Ayatollah Khomeini, how is he now seen by the common world of Muslims? Now you've made Shia look interesting to people that have only heard they curse this, they do this. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Now you're fighting for all of us. That's the kind of view that's being portrayed, and a lot of people did convert to so-called Shiism. I mean, I have different. Put it this way, I have differences with the common strand of Islam practice.
you don't subscribe to Iranian theocracy, the sort of Iranian model of Shiism. That's all I want to know. If not, then I'm fine.
Not that I know of, put it that way, because I don't know much about it.
That's fine. Okay.
But I do appreciate the fact that from what I've learnt of it, it doesn't seem to be an imperialist thing of conquering other countries and oppressing.
No, Iran isn't imperialist, but
and
you know,
its own people. From what I know, the majority of people in university are females.
really.
Yeah, about 75% or something like that. So there's
I'll
a
have
lot.
to look into that, but
No, there's a lot of positive, because I was watching some things where a Western guy, American guy, went over there and he's trying to talk on Iran and he's saying how lovely it is and da da da. And I'm sure it's not, because you can say I'm pro-black. So therefore, I would have an issue with Iranians believing they're superior to me, because apparently they've got that strand of we're superior. So therefore, that would be the first thing I'd be like, you're talking, me and you got issues already, right?
Yeah.
But in relation to the theocracies, you say, I do believe that a government should be, everything should be based upon science. You have to psychology, sociology.
I
all
agree.
That's it. I don't.
Well, I don't know if sociology is a
course it's
reasonable
science.
science, but no,
Are you
it's
serious?
it's a science. But
Are you serious?
I wonder how
Within
solid
sociology,
science
you have
is.
to study psychology. You have to study physiology, biology. All of these comes under sociology.
Yeah.
Do you
I
understand?
don't know. I wonder how useful a degree in sociology is. For some people, it works. You know, great.
I'm
If you want to
saying-
study more of the psychological aspect, that's fine. I know. I'm a bit suspicious of the so-called social sciences, but that's another.
No,
that's
forget
another
what they call the sciences.
Yeah.
I'm saying between me and you, if you were to study society,
Yeah.
there were so many subjects that are tucked in, and it would be a good bag of knowledge that you've got if you wanted to make decisions. You know what I'm saying? For instance, if you studied the society of Britain and you studied the Sunnis and their convert and how their behaviour is, that's all part of sociology and psychology.
I suppose.
Of course it
Okay.
is.
I take your point.
Because Sunnis are part of society, they're trying to cause trouble, they're trying to conquer. You know what I mean? Simple as that.
Right. Well, I guess I've got nothing else to say then.
No, beautiful.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Interesting discussion. Well, I have to say that evidence may apply
be-
more to Sunnis then, having had
Yeah.
this conversation. I don't know. Any
Yeah.
Muslim who wants to have a debate just from a general sort of Quranic perspective rather than
Any other-
specifically Shia.
Any other Sunni or Muslim? Any other Sunni or Muslim?
All right then.
See, he said any other Muslim and then rather than specifically Shia. See? But I know what you mean, but I'm saying I'm willing to debate any Sunni on the planet.
Sure.
The fact that they want to shapeshift and talk all stuff about us, but not come and debate, but debate everyone. And I notice how a lot of these Sunnis will debate people that hardly know anything.
Right.
And they will corner them and embarrass them and so on. Why not debate me? I used to be a pagan Sunni donkey like them. You get what I'm saying?
You've got a point there.
Simple as that. Who's better to debate? Somebody that was in your dumb crowd? Exactly. That's why they run. They're a bunch of clowns. But yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much. Peace and love to the people. Blessings.
Content over everything. From your man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
Clubs are going to be working.
Listen. COE. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV. I don't even listen to Sky TV. I just listen to COE. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV. I don't even listen to Sky Man, just listen to COE. Man, just listen to COE.